Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies. We are inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh, thanks to Empire Properties and thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. Print management, document management, everything you need up into the cloud. Kind of like I was on Cloud 9 last night or yesterday afternoon after I had the nachos from Raleigh Times.
Oh.
What grilled chicken yesterday?
It was a bold choice.
It was good.
I always get the barbecue, so I don't know how you divert.
So I've done the chicken tinga. I've done the grilled chicken.
Some mixed results.
Yeah, I think it was the Peruvian sauce that got me. And the next time I go over there, I'm gonna just try the black bean version.
Oh,
just call it a day. Go all veggie.
Well, it's the fresh jalapenos they get me every time.
So good, and the chips are fantastic too.
Well, they make them.
They make them right there. They're freshly fried. They're fantastic things. So, big thanks to Empire Properties. Also, big thanks to the New York Giants. They did the thing yesterday.
Yeah.
They fired.
You sure you want to thank them, or you want to thank our guy Julito?
Well, look. Well, first and foremost, something has to happen.
The script, man.
The transaction needs to happen. That's the first thing. Okay,
fair.
And Brian Daboll got fired yesterday. It was about damn time, especially with the way he had handled Jackson Dart, the way he had handled Scadaboo. He was coaching like a guy who was desperate to save his job, even though he knew. I mean, there was nothing saving him this year. When you go all the way back to comments from John Mara and the Mara family back in January, at one of the Maras, whoever's with us, they were like, yeah, like our patience is wearing thin. Well, then you should have freaking fired him last year. So here we are. They fired him. Here's Julian Edelman right on cue.
Week 10 after Giants lose that 10-point fourth quarter lead to the Chicago Bears. There's a team down in Chapel Hill that's playing a little better. What if the Giants brought in Bill Belichick?
Do you think that's even a possibility?
I don't know. He loves them. Guy shed a single tear every time we played there. The only time I saw him get happy, we talk about LT. I think they're going to want to probably try to get someone that's sexy for Jackson Dart. They fired Brian Daboll.
So there you go. There's Julian Edelman throwing that out there and having some amusement about he would shed a tear every time we played him. He was only happy when they talked about LT, as evidenced by the fact that he still does that. He does that today. When we talk about UNC and how Lawrence Taylor played at UNC and he was at that first game and everything else. So here we are.
What entrepreneurial spirit at North Carolina will convince the Mara family to allow Bill Belichick to fulfill the Bill Parcells prophecy, the Vince Lombardi, two of the biggest prides of New Jersey?
Yeah.
Bill Parcells and Vince Lombardi. Who will let Bill Belichick enter immortality by winning 15 more games? If you're the Giants, what else do you have?
You have nothing.
What else do you have?
You got nothing right now.
Brian Daboll, Joe Judge, Pat Shurmur, Ben McAdoo. Like,
go to the source already. Just hire the guy rather than guys who were with him.
What I'm getting at is you were a once proud franchise. Yeah. You were the kryptonite to Bill Belichick's dynasty. You were the one who beat him twice in the Super Bowl with Tom Coughlin and Eli Manning. You're nowhere near the Super Bowl right now.
No.
So
they're on an embarrassing level with the Jets, and you never want to be on an embarrassing level with the Jets.
And only because of the Jets are they not the laughing stock of the entire league, let alone their own building. But the truth of the matter is, what would the harm be? This is me, Carolina, right now. This is me, Lee Roberts, calling Mara. Hey, man.
Hey, dude.
What would the harm be? Hey, you're not winning a Super Bowl. What would the harm be? Let the old man coach 2 years, get his 15 wins. Hey, I'll even throw in Freddie Kitchings if you want.
So here's my question.
Heck, we'll throw in Lawrence Taylor.
Hey, I'm good with that. But here's my question. Would Belichick, to chase those 15 wins, as I've been saying, and you have been saying, will he be willing to give up what he's been able to have at UNC? And what I mean by that is,
he actually have at UNC?
No, what I'm getting at is he has his run of the building.
He does.
I want to have Mike Lombardi on my staff to be the general manager. Do you think he'd get that with an NFL franchise? Do you think he'd get that? Or are the Giants so desperate that it'd be like, fine, you can bring Lombardi.
Lombardi doesn't come, but one of the kids does. That's
okay.
The trade.
And that's the other thing too. Also, does Bill look at Jordan and say, hey,
nope, No. This is all part of their plan. Like they think this is how they got back to the NFL. If the Giants end up doing this, so he's not getting rid of her.
That's what I'm getting at. Is like, hey, love you, mean it. We've had a great time. Great run, but I got this thing. I got this thing.
This is the muse.
Even Tom Brady left Giselle so he could go pursue another Super Bowl ring. Okay, so if he could leave Giselle, I can leave you because I love football so much. You see what I'm getting at?
No, because she's the muse who convinced him to take this Carolina job as a path back to the NFL. So that wouldn't happen.
Well,
but if I'm Carolina, I am pressing those numbers. I'm sending them the Vince Lombardi. I'm getting Parcells to call them too, just to be like, hey, let my guy come and get these 15 wins, please.
Speaking of Jordan Hudson, this is how far down the list of things that we've discussed around North Carolina she has fallen to. I did not realize this, and I was just kind of poking around the internet today, catching up on some stuff that I might have missed. Usually our listeners do a really, really good job of like highlighting.
Hey guys, you missed this or you didn't see this, or did you see this?
Like shout out to Heel, man. Like he is all up in my Twitter. T, like just, hey, did you see this? And I appreciate that because it helps us do this, right? Not a single person sent me Jordan Hudson wearing a necklace that said banned on it from this past weekend in Chapel Hill. And of course, that is a subtle shot at Pablo Torre and his podcast and his reporting around Jordan Hudson. That's how far down the list that it's gone. And somebody had asked me, like, does she have somebody or does she wake up every morning like looking for herself on the internet? Like that sort of a thing, right? Does she have the Google alerts set? Does she have, is she putting her name into the Instagram to see if anybody's saying anything? And I thought this was actually a perfect time to bring this up. I'm not going to say who it is, but they had sent some Jordan Hudson things that we had done on this podcast, including the Sports Podcast Festival, to Jordan Hudson. And she finally responded last week. And here's the response on from the Instagram DM. Who are these people in relation to you and me? And this person responded to them, responded to Jordan Hudson, Joe Ovies and Joe Giglio, OG podcasting here in Raleigh, and tagged us. She has not reached out to us in any way, shape, or form. But this does kind of crack me up, and it kind of further proves what I just said. How often is she looking up her name? How often is she, trying to engage with this kind of like Taylor Swift mastermind stuff, right? The fact that she's responding to DMs from randos tells me she's absolutely engaged with looking up her name. And here we are. So anyway, that's just the NFL news of the day with Brian Daboll getting fired. And as I said yesterday, before I knew Brian Daboll was going to get fired, but you kind of had the spidey senses tingling, I said it's going to take 2 seconds for Bill Belichick's name to start populating for this job. Now, has he torched himself so badly and ruined his reputation so badly at UNC that the Giants would even consider this? As Julian Edelman said, would you get some sexy young coach to maximize the offensive firepower of Jackson Dark and Scattaboo and all that kind of stuff, right? I don't know.
Do you go get Josh McDaniels, who's tutoring Drake May right now with much success?
Sticking with the NFL, I am mad at myself.
Okay.
Why
are you mad at yourself?
I'm mad at myself because I spent this morning going down the Dave Canales coach speak rabbit hole.
I'm sorry.
It's like quicksand once it gets you. Because you got to remember, we're of a certain age where if you watch TV in the 80s, the worst thing that could ever happen to you is quicksand. Okay? So
Days of Our Lives, yeah.
Marlena got possessed by the devil one time. It was crazy stuff. So the reason why I got caught up in the Dave Canales quicksand was
we should really have Days of Our Lives soft piano music for anytime Dave Canales is talking, and then you would split screen it with what he said after the game with that he comes back with after sobering up.
Yeah,
I realize at second look, it's like going through your tweets and your text messages after you've been drinking. You're like, wake up and you're like, no, did I? Oh yeah, I went kind of hard at Charlotte, didn't I, on Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? It's out there now.
Yeah. What you're talking about is called hangxiety. Hangxiety, a combination of hangover and anxiety. The hangxiety,
especially, at my advanced age, like I have gaps.
Oh, I know.
At my age,
I'm in the same boat.
This when you were like. the Ring of Fire last year when I was so
you had
hungover.
You had no idea.
And you were like, and I was like, oh yeah. And you were like, don't you remember the moonshine? And I'm like,
no.
I drank.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that explains so much.
Maybe that's what Dave Canales does from a Sunday to a Monday. He's like, wait, I said what on Sunday?
Whoa. The poor dentist.
But the man never drank. The man doesn't drink. So I guess he's hungover. I guess he's hungover from the positive. I guess he's hungover from the positivity.
Wise words from Eddie Beatenbach.
I know. What did Eddie Beatenbach tell you?
Don't trust anyone who doesn't drink.
There's something, or doesn't have a vice. Really. Doesn't have a vice. Because I know people, and you and I know people who don't drink, fair. But I know their vices.
Yes.
You see what I'm getting at? Mm-hmm. So anyway. So, context here. Apologies.
We do know Dave Canales' vice. He wrote a whole book.
Yeah, he did. He's over it, though, apparently. So
his vice now is finding running backs.
So, yesterday we talked about Bryce Young, and Bryce Young's just not. He's not looking like it. So, for instance, and if you don't believe me, here is.
Oh no! Please don't tell me it's a PFF grade or
no.
Okay.
No, it's not PFF grades. No. This is from actual like Alex Zietlow and Mike K over at the Charlotte.
Our friends at the Charlotte Observer do an excellent job covering the Panthers.
So, in going over from some stuff, Zietlow has this wonderful nugget. He hasn't thrown a touchdown in the past. He hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in 2 games. He's thrown for over 200 yards once. That was the Arizona game. His average passer rating on the season is 79.7. That's 37th among all quarterbacks.
Did you just say 37th?
37th.
There's 32 starting quarterbacks.
That's 37th among all quarterbacks who have notched a start in the NFL this season. Because remember, we've gone through a lot of backups this year.
Okay.
We have gone through a lot of backups. So all that not good. Not good. Mike K at the Charlotte Observer pointing out that the Panthers' longest completion on the season so far was a 40-yard pass to Tet McMillan in that same Arizona game where he surpassed 200 yards in passing. Young targeted McMillan on a crossing route. He picked up the bulk of the yardage after the catch. There are 39 quarterbacks with longer season-high completions than Young. 39. Again, we've had a lot of backups. That includes Justin Fields, Cam Ward, and Joe Flacco. So, again, not great. So I got 2 clips from Dave Canales as I fell into the quicksand yesterday. The first clip is from Monday's press availability. Joe Person gets the questions going related to, all right, why?
Handsome.
He is a handsome motherfucker. The first question comes from Joe Person at The Athletic. And it is in relation to the lack of explosive plays, the lack of deep shots being taken by Bryce Young this season, as opposed to what we saw in the second half of last season, where he was taking some shots.
Saw you calling and Bryce taking more shots late last season. Why have you gotten away from it? Is it as simple as what you said about kind of getting reliant on the success of this run game?
By numbers wise, we're about the same. I think it's just a matter of chemistry, the full group getting comfortable with those and then making them come alive.
Is Bryce comfortable taking those deep shots?
We'll have to just keep growing as a group and make sure that, we're the time on task, the trust factor, the me to you factor, all those things, grow.
What do you think will help the trust factor? When you say trust factor, do you mean between wide receivers and Bryce, or coaching staff and Bryce, play calling and Bryce?
All the things, and it happens in practice. And we've had these things come alive in practice, and we got to make sure that they make it to the game.
Okay. A lot of nothing. A lot of nothing. You can interpret that any way you want. And I interpreted that as, you must be mad at the wideouts, or you're mad at the wideouts in an effort to at least cover for Bryce Young, maybe. Or as I texted one person who would know in Charlotte, I believe, I'm actually going to pull up the text right now. I asked, so is Canales mad at Bryce or the wide receivers or both? And I just got the response, yes. So Dave Canales not really happy with everybody. Now, here's the second clip. This was on Panther Talk. And here's from the YouTube channel. And Jim Zoki gets things going with Dave Canales related to the lack of explosiveness. and whether or not this is a wide receiver issue. And I thought the answer was interesting.
A general question, but obviously they take away the run, and then the first option they're going to know is Tedero after that. The other receiving group with Jalen and the rest of the guys, getting them more involved, is that maybe a priority moving forward, just having all the different options more involved?
Absolutely, Jim. I mean, that's a great point, right? We'd love to see these guys show up, and, for a couple of weeks now, we've seen Jalen Coker make plays when he's gotten his opportunities, and I expect Xavier to make his plays as well, and so having the variety, making sure that we spread it out and really, work on our formations, work on the type of passes that we're throwing, to different guys. But, I'll tell you guys this again, it's going to start with T-Mac, and we're going to count on him. He's going to get the toughest looks, and so we have to make sure that we put him in different situations to create access for him and to put him on stuff that, isn't always just the isolated X receiver. And we've been mixing some things up like that, but we can continue to do that.
So again, this sounds more like a wide receiver issue, and almost to a certain extent himself being a little bit upset at himself for not being able to scheme it up well enough for McMillan to have a breakout rookie wide receiver season.
A serious question for you. How long would the current version of me last with Dave Canales not answering questions directly? Until I would just say to him, can you please answer the fucking question?
That would have happened last year already.
Okay.
Yeah, if you were on that beat, you would have done that last year already, and you probably wouldn't be allowed in the press conferences this season.
Probably. So props to all the regulars there who put up with that.
I know
that answer in the weird Iron Man 2 bunker lighting there. I don't know what that was with their podcast.
What, their Panther Talk podcast studio? You should see you should see Darren Gant doing it.
Bombs over Baghdad there. I don't know what was
Gant.
What aesthetic are they going for?
Hold on a second.
Look at ours. I'm not knocking. I'm just saying.
No. Let me hold on a second. Now you got me. Let me pull this up real quick.
But at least in that clip, he answered Jim's question.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I can live with that. And I get it. He's in a more of a softer position. I didn't have any problem with Jim's question, though, the way that he phrased it.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Now you got me curious in the studio aspect. So you just heard Dan Ganser. I don't have this up yet. So this is you get a little weird about the studio. I think you're getting a little restless with our studio.
No, I love our studio. I love our lighting.
Here is Gant. Now this Gant with the long hair and the quarter zip, and he's got the Deep Eddy vodka because clearly they got a branding deal with the vodka. He's got the Super Bowl 50. You get the Super Bowl 50.
That's positively
football.
Bright compared to the clip you just showed, though.
Yeah, it's really it really is.
They even have the camo netting or something.
Well,
their sound dampening looks like they're literally Iron Man putting together the thing in his chest.
No,
what are we doing?
This is Batcave. This is Batcave. That's what this looks like. Actually, for a second there, I thought they were at Epcot because it looks like the geodesic, design. That's what I thought for a second. It's is Darren right now in the is he in Future World?
Happy Hour. It's brought to you by Deep Eddy. That's
I
smart.
I get it.
But yeah, you're right about the lighting. They got to work on the lighting there a little bit. By the way, see the Super Bowl 50 thing?
You know what they really need to work on?
What's that?
The mix minus.
Stop it. Anyway, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Because we've kind of gone on a tangent here related to the Panthers by studio lighting and everything else. To get back to Canales and his comments and things like that. If I was to interpret this as I went into the Canales rabbit hole, it sounds to me like the wide receiver group that we said at the beginning of the season, you are relying on a bunch of rookies and unproven guys like Jalen Coker to go out there and continue to do it again. Mm-hmm. You are relying a lot on this. Is now coming home to roost with a passing game that is just not explosive. Just not explosive. Because you can't sit here and tell me that you were able to do it last year with old dudes, and this year you're having a hard time with it, with more explosiveness.
Well, hasn't he always been hesitant to criticize Bryce?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes and no. Worst case scenario.
Directly criticize Bryce.
You're right about that. I just gave you the most positive version of the Dave Canales interpretation. Mm-hmm. Worst case scenario is that he cannot trust Bryce to get these guys open, that there is no respect for Bryce Young and a deep play or an explosive play, and that's why they have no problem selling out the run like we saw against New Orleans, right? And that what we're seeing here is one of two things going forward. Either they're going to cut bait on Bryce Young and bring in a veteran quarterback that Dave Canales can have success with again, because notice the pattern with Dave Canales, okay?
Yep. Seattle, Tampa. Okay.
To a certain extent, Andy Dalton last year before he got in the car wreck and he was hesitant to go back to Bryce Young. I'm talking worst case scenario for Bryce Young. Bryce Young.
Yeah.
And they just say, screw it. I know I cannot win with this guy. Let's just go ahead and see what we can get for Bryce Young on the market with still a team-friendly deal. Or you're stuck with him another year through 2026 because you're not really going to find his replacement in this upcoming draft. You're stuck with him until 2026, and then you continue to try to get better through the draft to add dynamic wide receivers to see if you even have anything with him before you give him a contract.
Kind of feels like we need to go to the table of axioms for this.
Okay.
What must be done eventually should be done immediately. I don't think they're at that point with Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
I'm with you on that.
I think a lot of fans are. I think a lot of people are.
We are. I
right?
am.
I never would have drafted Bryce Young. So
sure.
You know,
too late for that now.
You know what I mean? But I don't think they are. And they have those mixed results. That's why you see a lot of the formations. That's why they're trying to use them under the shotgun, under center, try to use some of that play action stuff to get guys open, pop guys open. But ultimately, Bryce Young is the one who's sitting there doing the calculus to say, am I going to take a deep shot here or am I just going to be safe? I brought this up yesterday talking about Drake May. The real differentiator for Drake May is he takes chances downfield. Yep. And some quarterbacks don't want to do that out of self-preservation, in part because they are being drilled. You know, you look at the through line for a Baker Mayfield, a Sam Darnold, a Daniel Jones in their career, and some of them did work with Canales.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The through line for them is they were all turnover prone. And their biggest problems weren't that they didn't have this high ceiling, but they made too many mistakes. Well, what you're seeing out of all those quarterbacks now is they've really reduced those mistakes drastically.
Mm-hmm.
The problem for Bryce Young is he really doesn't make those type of mistakes. His turnovers come on forced plays by the defense. He gets hit, he fumbles, right? You don't really see him take these big chances when it comes to the deep shots.
Yeah.
And that, I think, ultimately is on Bryce Young. Like, you can call whatever play you want, but ultimately it has to get through his brain that I'm allowed to take these chances.
But that's what last year was for.
At the end of last year, which is what he did.
Right.
You saw him take more chances.
That's the thing. That's what
Coker
last year
in particular was his blanket on that
which
one.
Gets,
or Thielen, he had a little bit more faith in Thielen too.
Yeah, which gets back to you mentioned Thielen. This gets back to where we were at the beginning of the season and what I just said. You gambled on a bunch of rookies or one key rookie, the second year of a guy breaking through, Xavier Legette, and Jalen Coker doing Jalen Coker things as though, you can replicate that season to season, right? And you got rid of Thielen. I mean, you got something for him. I get that. But you also made it abundantly clear we are relying upon a bunch of unproven talent to make this thing go. Now, if you want to argue with me, as we wrap up this segment, if you want to argue with me that Bryce Young should be able to elevate this talent around him, which is what good franchise quarterbacks do, I am here for that conversation. You bring up Drake May, and as you said yesterday, you're trying to tell me that he's got this wide receiver talent around him. That's what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah.
Okay. No, could it be that Drake May is just that guy who is elevating the guys around him? You see the difference?
You know what also came out on my socials yesterday?
What?
Drake May talking about how they're running the exact same place that Tom Brady used because Josh McDaniels is dialing it up, man. Dialing it up.
Interesting times up in New England.
Housekeeping.
Big thanks to Inovana. Check them out online at inovana.com. Green Cleaning Solutions.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Inovana.
Thanksgiving right around the corner. That means you probably need the house cleaned before you got family coming over and you're hosting, and you probably need it cleaned when they leave because your family's trashy.
Whoa.
So
I like my women a little on the trashy side.
Who doesn't? So call up Inovana, hit them up online at inovana.com. Also hit up, I should say, the OG Winter Pop-Up Shop. It's cold.
You need a hat.
You need a toboggan, a beanie, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. Just buy it. It's $25. OGTriangleMediaShop.com. It'll keep your head warm. The only thing warmer are our takes, honestly.
We have socks.
You know what?
Work on some socks.
Next year.
Yeah.
Next year. So far you can get this.
We got onesies.
We do have onesies. But we got the beanies, we got the full zip hoodies, we got the pullover hoodie.
Yeah.
All right. So go to ogtrianglemediashop.com. The pop-up shop closes on December 1st. Once the shop closes, all this stuff goes back into the vault. Okay. Goes back into the vault. So go to ogtrianglemediashop.com. Also, I got the equipment for the Christmas parade. Hayes is convinced you're not really committed to the bit.
I'm not?
That you're not.
Oh, look at that.
You like the little
That's like
an actual bike.
I was watching the Match Game 77 the other day.
And then we got the Wireless Go Roads in the Red Reckoning, apparently.
I know, but I was literally watching Match Game 77 and I said, why don't they have those long ass mics anymore?
Well, here you go.
Let's go.
Got the Rode Interview Go. You just put the little wireless clip on there and you are good to go. Big thanks to Brassfield Accounting. All these things that we are purchasing, these are things that you got to make sure that's all on the up and up when it comes to tax season, right? And if you're a small business and you don't have an actual CFO, well, Chris, brassfieldaccounting.com, can be your fractional CFO, especially if you're dealing with government grants. So go to brassfieldaccounting.com. We have breaking news.
I was going to say.
We have breaking news. While Chris is in Homer, Alaska, but we are in the future and, you can work remotely and get these things done. They now have an RTP office, Joe. So if you're old school and you want to bring a bunch of paper to somebody, you can do that in the RTP. So hit up brassfieldaccounting.com. Again, that's brassfieldaccounting.com. Again, you need a CFO, like an actual expert on these things, just like you need an expert to handle what's going on with interest rates and whether it's the right time to refinance or not, or buy a house. Miller Lending can help you out with that. You've been hesitant to buy a house because of the interest rates. Totally understandable. But Miller Lending can walk you through that. You don't pay closing costs. So if the rates come down in 6 months after you buy the house, you can refinance again and go for there. And we're not talking about a 50-year mortgage either. We ain't doing that. All right. So go to millerlending.com/the-OG. You take that thing to close, you'll get a gift basket from our friends at the Butcher's Market. Speaking of your home, how much you paying for insurance? When was the last time you thought about your home insurance? You might be wasting money right now. So go to insuregarner.com or call 919-779-8277 and hit up Matt Davis at State Farm in Garner. They're going to help you save money on your home and auto, and they can also help you financially plan. So hit them up, insuregarner.com, 919-779-8277. And of course, our friends at NC Grill Rescue. Check them out online at ncgrillrescue.com. As we mentioned, the holidays are right around the corner. You might be hosting. You might be using your outdoor kitchen, your smoker, or whatever for all the turkeys you're making, right? You gotta make sure that thing's running at peak efficiency. We'll contact our friends at NC Grill Rescue, whether for Thanksgiving or the holidays. You want to make sure everything looks good and it's cooking good. So go to ncgrillrescue.com.
No need to bury your barbecue. Call NC Grill Rescue. And now it's time for your NC Grill Rescue of the Week.
What you got, Joe?
My Grill Rescue goes to the Rookie of the Year voters in Major League Baseball. Nick Kurtz for the A's.
Oh,
one ACC guy. Cool, very cool. I get it. We needed a larger sample size for Nolan McLean, the pride of Garner.
Mm-hmm.
But no love for Nolan McLean in the NL Rookie of the Year voting. I was like, I know at the time everyone's like, no, it's going to be this catcher from the Braves, or it's going to be this pitcher from the Cubs. I'm like, are you guys watching what this guy's doing? Come on, man.
Clearly
Where
not.
are you?
Clearly
What
not.
happened? Still number one in my heart, Nolan.
Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline from the News and Observer, she covers Carolina. She is Shelby Swanson. Shelby, what up?
Hey, what's good? Thanks for having me on.
Caleb Wilson's what's good, man. It took one game and a lot of shit talk to get everybody back on board with UNC one week and falling right back in love.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we were kind of talking here before we hit record, but I think that UNC fans, certainly Hubert Davis, are very happy that, you know, it wasn't just a lot of hype, a lot of trash talk, a lot of excitement, but he did put it on film. And so far he has lived up to the hype asterisk. I mean, certainly it sounds like he doesn't think there's been enough hype around him. A little bit of that Mamba mentality, but yeah, first UNC freshman to score more than 20 points in the first 2 games. And I mean, just incredible performance against Kansas, getting it all done. 10-second backcourt violation, diving on the floor for loose balls, showed some of his playmaking ability. So that'll continue to be crucial, especially as they go into the stretch without Seth Trimble for an undetermined amount of time.
Since you brought it up, we got the news surgery this week. They are unsure of the timetable, but what have you been able to pick up around Seth Trimble and how long this might last?
Yeah, I mean, as he posted on his Instagram, it seems like it would be more so a matter of weeks. Haven't really been able to get anyone to speak to me much further. I've been doing some poking, some prodding, but on what exactly happens. Obviously, with the Radford game tonight, gonna see what we can pick up as to what exactly happened. But we know that it was some sort of incident in a team workout, left forearm, has to get surgery. But I don't think, out of the folks that I've spoken to, haven't been as maybe devastated as the fans that I've spoken to. I think they have a lot of hope that he will be, back, just a matter of time. And I mean, they have enough, I think, playmakers kind of in the backcourt, see who will step up. Certainly get some more time for Derek Dixon, Luka Bogovac. It's go time. And I think that those guys will get some more play, some more experience here. So, I mean, you certainly don't hope for, an injury like this to Seth Trimble, but if you can take a positive out of it, it's the experience that some of these younger guys or these newer players will have, in his absence.
It almost feels like, without knowing anything, it's a Tyler Zeller type situation. You're going up, you're either trying to grab a rebound or you're a dunk, you come back, you brace yourself, use that off arm to brace yourself. Here we are.
Yeah, I mean, the number of times that you've seen him just do all sorts of, acrobatic things in the air, like it.
Yeah,
like it's
stretch to think this is what happened in practice on Sunday.
Exactly. Yeah, and so again, we'll find out. We'll see what folks will tell us. Haven't been able to get anything myself. People have been pretty tight-lipped about it. But again, the thing I will repeat is that the folks around the program that I've spoken to, I think, have spoken with more optimism about, hate it for Seth, but he'll be back. So I don't think folks should be too distraught, especially, given that they, got this Kansas win. I mean, that's going to be the one that matters for the next month or so. And so you go ahead and you get that solid Q1 win. And I think it was Trimble after the game that pretty much said, frankly, like, this win takes a lot of pressure off of Hubert. And we recognize that. So that's going to be really important. Have a little bit of a slow stretch, get the Fort Myers tip off, and then they'll play that game. I think it's December 2nd against Kentucky at Rupp. And that'll be another really good test for them.
I wonder if more than anything else, it's his leadership that they'll miss. They just don't have an obvious older player. Like, obviously we know Wilson's personality. He's been a tour de force, but there's a difference between being a bus driver and being somebody that the other players are going to listen to as well. I wonder who kind of that might need to be a Jaren Stevenson or a Kyan Evans, who kind of somebody who's at least been around college basketball.
Yeah, he's had that experience.
That you could say, okay, this guy's not full of shit, right?
Right.
We're gonna look for this guy.
I agree. I mean, we'll see. Like, I don't know the timing of the surgery. I'd imagine that as much as possible, he's going to be, around the team and still on the bench at practice. He'll still be able to, talk to those guys and pregame in the huddle. At halftime, those sorts of things. So that's, I think one of the things that folks pointed out when I was talking to them, like, yeah, I mean, he still has that voice, whether or not he's, on the court or not. Certainly having Wilson as kind of the emotional leader, I think on the floor with his level of effort will be important. But yeah, I mean, so I'm not too concerned about it, I would say, just because he can, continue to be that voice for folks, whether or not he's playing, at least for the stretch.
Speaking of voices, I wanted to go back to Caleb Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
I think we've had enough time to talk about the game and the impact he had in that game, and everybody being excited about after the game, where he's like, yeah, man, I got this lock screen. I got all that kind of stuff. All great stuff. The part that I find more interesting as we get further away from it is Caleb Wilson kind of disrupting. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. You could tell me I'm reading too much into it. It's fine. I felt like the whole whiteout thing jarred Carolina more than they care to admit. Like that the reaction fans gave to this guy saying, hell yeah, man, let's do a whiteout for Friday night. And like this almost cavalier reaction to it initially on social media was wear whatever y'all want because we still have this activation sponsor in Verizon.
Yeah, the game day sponsor.
The game day sponsor. And Hubert Davis, after the game, we played the clip yesterday, was kind of reacting to the way Caleb Wilson has energized everybody. And I feel like this just truly caught people off guard, and Carolina almost doesn't know what to do with this energy. Is that off base?
I would say, at least initially, but I think they're kind of growing into it.
Okay.
One of the things that I think I find really interesting, and I think y'all have brought it up, but if you just think about the way that freshmen have historically been treated at Carolina, the idea that, you know, before the season, you know, whether it was Dean Smith or whoever, you know, media, where you're not talking to the freshmen until they play, right? Yeah. That was kind of the old guard, the old way of things. This season, we had spoken to the freshmen, not just, you know, Caleb Wilson, but your Derek Dixon, et cetera, heading into this season. I think that, at least to me, indicated a little bit of a shift, you know, in mentality. Mm-hmm. And I think with this instance, it was, I think folks were taken aback maybe by the vitriol on social media after they continued to push this. No, we're going with this blue, this Verizon game day sponsor. And then, like you guys mentioned, I mean, they just got dumped on social media. And pretty soon that afternoon, there were internal conversations in the athletic department of, okay, hold up. We might want to kind of, you know, change our approach with this. And so they ended up, you know, joint decision with internally and then with Verizon to decide and go with this whiteouts, go and grab Caleb Wilson, film this video, announce it. Mm-hmm. And I think that folks were a little bit surprised that, yeah, I mean, it was not just the student section. I mean, everybody was wearing white in that building. The athletic department got on board, you know, all the folks, all the decision makers I'm seeing, you know, they're wearing their white too. And I think that they've since leaned into it a little bit. You saw that with this blue out theme, I guess, that they're doing for the Radford game tonight. They made a video with Caleb Wilson, you know, announcing it and putting the shirts out. So they've since put these Caleb Wilson edits out about Caleb Wilson is him. And I mean, so they're leaning into it. And I think it's smart because he's somebody that, and Hubert Davis has mentioned this, just connects with, I think, the fans in a really unique way that we have not really seen at UNC in recent memory for a freshman. Mm-hmm. And it's very different from the, like you guys have mentioned, you know, the Armando Baycott's, the RJ Davises who connect with the UNC guard because they decided to stay and they're these constant presence. This is just a kid that's come in and talks trash and dunks the ball and works hard and clearly too loves UNC. I mean, down to the, you know, the Argyle braids that he had, you know, in his hair. So I think they're leaning into it. They're embracing it a little bit more. And again, I think part of that is just kind of his personality. And part of that is, I mean, he is clearly, if you watch that Kansas game, the, you know, on-court engine, the emotional kind of.
He never turned it off. He never turned it off. You know, as much as kind of Trimble's providing that almost like wise, steadying presence, Caleb is the, I don't know if the MFer on the court, you know? So I think that's, I'm like, I don't know. Okay. I guess Shelby, you're old enough now. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. Haven't cleared that with my employers, so
okay. It's a term of endearment. We've established that.
I was gonna say, Shelby, you're the person who's across from me used to work there for a very long time. If he was fine with his language, okay. No, you're gonna be fine.
It's interesting though. why does it have to be Caleb Wilson? My brain is now moving a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the people I talked to at Carolina, I was like, well, who does he remind you of? And they were like, Marvin Williams. Now, I want you to understand something. Carolina's had one and done players before.
Yeah.
Kobe White would be the last. But when Kobe signed, unbelievable tragedy in his family before he got to school. And no one thought Kobe was going to be a one and done. And I get it. Drake Powell last year, I get it. I know that. But even with Drake Powell, it wasn't like, oh, here comes this lottery pick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like Caleb is a true first lottery pick since Brandon Wright.
You got to go away.
Like, you got to go a minute.
Yes.
That's not to say Carolina hasn't had good players.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to say Carolina hasn't had other motherfuckers since then.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is this is the first one and done true Haley's Comet that they've had that and I love the way that they're embracing that they, just like Duke does, hey, we might only have him for 9 months, but guess what?
We're going to ride it.
We're going to ride it. Like, I feel like that's a huge sign of progress for Carolina in this one and done era.
What you're getting at, and Shelby, I want to add this in before you chime in here.
Brady Manick, but he wasn't a freshman.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You have to, we talked
And
about.
he didn't think he was going to. I mean, I don't think they knew from
No, they didn't know. No, they didn't developed into that before they realized who Brady Manick was.
We talked about this back during the NBA draft with the dynamics that have flipped between Duke and Carolina and who's putting people in the pros. Right now, Carolina can point to the success that they've had without having these lottery picks. We get that. But you tend to forget what you were after a while. Okay. You remember that we're old enough to remember that Carolina was the one that was putting guys in the NBA, and that board that you went to school and you watched for the I'm a Tar Heel video, what used to be the I'm a Tar Heel video was littered with actual NBA all-stars. Okay. Yeah. You're watching the I'm a Tar Heel video as a student, Shelby, and those are just ones you put your arms around for whatever Carolina reason. It used to be a stunt. Like, we're stunting on other programs because of what we are, as opposed to, well, here's our Carolina guys that we love. You see what I'm getting at?
No, I mean, I see what you're saying. Like, and I think
that's what Caleb Wilson is like, almost a throwback to, of like, oh shit, man, we got like an NBA guy here.
Yeah, and they recognize that. I mean, I think the staff recognizes that he is by far the best pro prospect that they've had in years, certainly at least under Hubert Davis's head coaching tenure. Yes. They recognized that from, before they had played like an official, like, non-exhibition game. That was pretty much an understanding. And I think they understand too that they're only going to get him likely for 1 year. They're not kidding themselves on that. Mm-hmm. I think one of the things that's really interesting about that is then who is going to maybe fill that void next year, because my understanding of a lot of the kind of roster construction around Wilson is that they went out and they got guys in the portal that have multiple years of eligibility remaining because they wanted to have a little bit more of continuity. Like, yes, this is kind of finally what a lot of folks have been calling for, a little bit of a hard reset, with this roster. But my understanding is the coaching staff went out and they got folks with, again, multiple years of eligibility. We don't want, these like transfer plug and plays. We want to kind of build with some of these guys, which leaves a question of, and again, we're thinking way too far ahead of this, but what happens with, Caleb Wilson leaving? Will you continue to, see maybe more of a Duke kind of retooling year after year where, we're getting more Caleb Wilsons? The extreme example, but Cooper Flagg leaves, we're going to bring in the Boozer twins and something more like that. Is this going to be kind of more of a phenomenon? But I think that if somebody like, Wilson can come to UNC and have great success, that shows, a lot of these recruits out here that's, you can do the Duke thing in Chapel Hill. And I had a conversation with Caleb's dad, which, by the way, if you guys didn't see the shirt that he was wearing at the whiteout game, y'all need to check my Twitter for that, because that was something special. But he was saying, like, I hope that recruits like saw this game, like saw this Kansas game, what Caleb and what the team as a whole was able to do, because like that's why we came here, was for this atmosphere, this matchup, the chance for him to do something like that. So I think that he can be really, really, impactful in terms of kind of showing that example for guys that might be kind of on the bubble or deciding like, I might want to go to UNC, but I don't know if I'm going to play immediately. They don't really play the freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, he's proving that if you can. Oh yeah, the guys.
So I pulled up. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, I pulled up Shelby's tweet of Caleb Wilson's dad wearing a custom shirt. So explain the shirt, Shelby.
Please, yeah. So I came up to him after the game, and this is Jerry, and I asked, what's the shirt? So BTA is at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see, the T is actually a belt. So BTA, belt to ass. And then at the bottom, it says sparkled bedazzled belt. So obviously, a nod to this clip where Caleb Wilson was on with Connor Prince or whoever it was. And
the basketball influence, the former college basketball player who was at the TCU North Carolina football game that Caleb Wilson was hanging out and did the thing that Joe Giglio immediately fell in love with. And like, man, you're even name dropping Wake Forest on the belt to ass. Yeah. You get it, man.
So custom shirt. He said he had it made. I think that day he has a guy got it for the whiteout, and then on the back it had his son's number and the Argyle. And so if you saw too, Caleb Wilson has a sparkled bedazzled belt that he was posing with and posting up on social media. So we'll see if I see Jerry today or at one of the upcoming games. We'll see if maybe they're gonna consider rolling this out. I've had a lot of folks reach out to me asking where they can buy it. Like it's not for sale currently, but we might.
We got a guy. I was gonna say. I can got a site for that.
That's what I'm saying. They could little OG partnership potentially.
So Kobe White is their last top 10 pick, 2019.
Yeah.
And again, Marvin Williams, when you go back, number 2 pick in the 05 draft.
Mm-hmm. It's been a hot minute. I mean, but again, Carolina's had success without it.
It's been different,
but it's been different.
Yeah,
it's been different. And there's an entire generation of UNT fans that don't know that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm getting at? And that's what I find interesting in Carolina. And I got to imagine, Shelby, even you feel a little bit older, like these kids these days. I see that picture of Jerry Wilson, Caleb Wilson's dad, and I think, oh crap, that guy's like my age. And because again,
younger.
He's probably younger. I'm like, oh wait a minute, that's right. Caleb Wilson and my son Caleb are probably 1 year apart.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy when you talk to these, and I say these kids, I mean these young men. Yeah. But you're talking to them, and they're talking about Caleb Wilson's. We haven't beaten Kansas in 20-something years. That's before I was born, and I'm like, wait, that's before I was born too. Like, it's crazy. And so to your point, I mean, you think about these. All the students that are
they don't know, Shelby.
They don't know. They don't know. I mean, like a Marvin, like you guys bring up the name Marvin Williams. Like I know who that is. I don't know that the students that were there at that game understand who that is. I mean, Kobe White would have been, 2019. That would have been when they were like in high school, maybe middle school for some of them. I mean, I'm sorry. I know I see.
Yeah, there is but we could do an entire segment on this, and we'll wrap on this. We could do an entire segment on the I'm a Tar Heel video. We could, because in the 30 years that I've been going to the Smith Center, the pop has changed over time for who it is, right? And they could throw up Jimmy Black, and you get like some old timers that are like, hey, cool, right? You put Kobe White up there. All the young ones are like, hell yeah. Even Tyler Hansbrough has seen a little bit of a decline.
I was going to bring that up. So the Tyler Hansbrough. So my first story that I did for the News and Observer when they hired me full time was Tyler Hansbrough returning to the classroom. He's helping teach this sports communication class with one of my former professors, Livis Freeman. Mm-hmm. And really fun. They let me go to the class, hang out, talk to him. And I realized in talking to some of the kids after the class, because, want to pull them and, oh my gosh, how was this? Half the kids I talked to did not know who he was. and not in some sort of ignorant, like, man, they were kind of embarrassed. They're like, I did not know who he was. It was the kids who, maybe they grew up in state or their parents went to UNC that understood, but half the kids I talked to did not know who Tyler Hansbrough was. So like these, highlights that they're showing with him, at the Duke game, they're seeing this stuff for the first time. Mm-hmm. So that's, I think, when it kind of hit me like, okay, there's a bit of a generational gap in terms of his fans. So some of these students, which I think might be part of the reason too, he resonates so much with them, like they have not seen a UNC player like this in their lifetime.
Nope.
Which is really interesting to think about. And I know that there's probably going to be a lot of eye rolls, when I say this, but I mean, it's
true.
These kids don't know.
Look, it's something that I know our generation has a hard time comprehending, in the same way that when I was your age and I first started, do you know how many times I rolled my eyes at the old timers talking about the good old days at the ACC tournament? And like, okay, cool, whatever. It's like, I had to hear about Ralph Sampson all the damn time. I had to hear about 1983 all the time. I was 4 years old in 1983. Okay. Got to hear about 1983. Oh, they're trotting out 1983 again. You got any new material here? Right. So yeah, like if anybody that's old, like that's our age, in their 40s and 50s are rolling their eyes. All right. Think about when you were in college and you were constantly hearing about that time frame. So it would make sense that you got an entire generation of kids. And look, 2017 is a long ass time ago, y'all. It's a long ass time ago for Carolina.
How old's 2015 then?
What, for Duke?
Duke's last.
Yeah, like I was in middle school.
We're about to get into it, aren't we?
I mean,
it's too early.
It's too early in the morning for that.
Too early.
So,
all right,
it's too early. It's too early to be breaking y'all's brains.
Yes.
Which also, I mean, I just want to point out, I've been on here for 23 minutes, and Giglio hasn't brought up anything related to UNC football's trip to Deektown.
Oh,
I thought that was your team, but that's okay. We're short on time, so
it's fine. We live in this weird Bill Belichick. Well, we're about to enter the Big Four vortex.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Michael Lombardi brought up the North Carolina map that they have in their locker room
we need the greatest
last night.
Because when I was so excited when I saw that, what was it, week 2 or whatever it was?
It was a week 2 video.
I was like, whoa!
Here we go! Here we go!
Yeah,
we're about to enter the Big Four vortex, and my brain is already hurt because of this Julian Edelman clip that we showed earlier in the program. Because yesterday, Joe was like, you just wait till what happens next. And I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, remember we talked to Politi, and even he was like, well, yeah, the reason he's not the Giants coach is because he's an asshole.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well,
but maybe the Giants,
about right.
Maybe the Giants figured, maybe we stop hiring Bill Belichick guys and just hire Bill Belichick finally.
Well, that's right. After
go to the source.
As long as you
cut the middleman.
Promise not to bring Joe Judge back to call plays.
Yeah.
Victory formation.
You're good.
When you're losing.
Shelby Swanson, News and Observer.
So yes, my brain, my brain has a little bit of Belichick overload.
No, I was ready for it.
I suspect the darkness hits Bill though on Saturday. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. All right, Shelby. We'll talk to you later.
Bye, guys.
Speaking of the darkness, we'll have an After Dark brought to you by our friends Bloom and Blinds on Saturday. We've got all 4 in action on Saturday.
It will legitimately be dark too.
It will. We'll go after the UNC Wake Forest game. We'll also have the Duke Virginia game to talk about. We will also have the NC State Miami game to talk about.
Oh, Duke.
Yeah.
When will the Jim Phillips high alert kick in? Will it be this Saturday?
We'll get to Duke. We'll get to Duke in a little bit. But yeah, Bloom and Blinds brings you the After Darks and our conversations about the ACC. So check them out online at bloomandblinds.com or call them directly at 919-980-9815. I wanted to run through some basketball things real quick before we get back to college football. And we're talking about UNC, and I do think that after last week, we had a week's worth of the reckoning. Mm-hmm. This week has been the Caleb Wilson belt to ass, right? And I think it's been interesting, and that's why, I love talking to Shelby, because we have to remind ourselves that there's an entire generation that has come up that views things differently than you or I do, or, the Chip Alexanders of the world would view it, right? So there's all sorts of generational changes in how we view these things and the lenses that we view things. But there's one thing we can all agree on. ACC can't fuck it up in basketball this week. Can't.
Oh, cannot. Don't fuck it up, you're saying.
Because we're in don't fuck it up mode already with basketball.
Well,
all right.
State has the reckoning. Carolina has the reawakening.
I like that.
Aha.
I like that. Speaking of the reckoning, this is tomorrow. Ooh. Tomorrow we will have a reckoning alert day.
Yes, we will.
As NC State plays UNC Greensboro. Joe, can you please explain why we are on a reckoning alert day and what level should it be? It's between 1 and 83.
Right. This is a reckoning alert 18.
Okay.
18.
Okay.
For the last time that NC State lost to UNC Greensboro. It was Kevin Keats' first season, 2017-2018. They lost at home to UNCG. I remember this because Orlando Early texted me, former assistant coach, and said, "Oh, look at the new guys. Just like us, huh?
No.
Just like us." Losing to UNC Greensboro 81-76 in Kevin Keats' first season.
Do those guys know why they got fired?
Of course.
Especially Orlando Early. Okay.
Another podcast.
Okay. I'm just like, I get the text, but it's like, guys, you know why you got fired, right?
Hey, but just like Mark Gottfried lost to NC Central.
Yes.
That was memorable to them because I wrote "This is our belt" line. They were very upset about
I know.
"This is our belt" line.
I know.
So now Will Wade has a chance not only to pay back Mark Gottfried's sins, but now Kevin Keats' his sins from losing to
Wes
Spartans and Wes Miller. Wes Miller no longer there.
Yeah.
But
I'd forgotten about Wes Miller.
Get another crack. Oh, don't worry. Grant will remind you as soon as Cincinnati.
Good point. The minute Cincinnati gets like a decent win, Grant Hughes over at 24/7. Wes Miller. Anyway.
So I'm going to say, it was 12-16-17 was the date.
Okay.
So which one do you want to go with?
Let's go with 17.
17.
Let's go with 17.
Okay. Right.
Reckoning 16, alert level 17. 6-7. 6-7. What are we, Vilma on the Fox broadcast trying to make the 6-7 joke work with the president? Yeah, guys, we're not going to do that. All right. So yeah, State UNCG reckoning alert day. We've called it for tomorrow.
Yep.
And it's a level 17.
17.
You
got it.
Will there be defense played?
There better be.
No, but when I say, hey, ACC, here's your opportunity to not screw things up. This is what we have on the table tonight. Yes, we do have Duke and Army Veterans Day. I know that this was written about in the News and Observer and the connections between Duke and Army and Mike Krzyzewski and Sean Shire talking about how there's a lot of like principles that have been still implemented and still used today. So very, very cool. Salute to the troops on Veterans Day. Wake Forest, Michigan. Wake, what you gonna be about this year, Wake?
17-point dogs. Wake.
Yikes. FSU, Florida.
19-point dogs. FSU.
Louisville, Kentucky. Now this.
We got ourselves a favorite.
This is a matchup tonight, a top 25 matchup between Louisville and Kentucky. And then tomorrow, as I mentioned, you've got State and UNCG. You got Pitt, West Virginia, which is another, hey, Pitt, hey, Jeff Capel, hey, backyard brawl, don't screw this up. And then goes, Cal, hey, Cal, you didn't contribute anything? Seriously, Cal, if you want to contribute something to the league, beat Kansas State. You see what I'm getting at?
Mm-hmm.
So we are in ACC. We going to do this again? Because as we're about to talk about, football certainly dropped. Like they're fumbling. All right. We're really bad off in football. So here's your opportunity to take it back. Take your corners back, ACC basketball. To at least give Jim Phillips something to be positive about, right? Right? Big thanks to Happy and Hail. Check them out online. Download the app, Happy and Hail. Use the promo code OG25. You're going to get 25% off your first order.
Let's take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hail.
In fact, when we're done here, I will be hitting Happy and Hail because I still need my hockey tournament brown food detox. I think I turned into a tater tot while I was up in DC. So I need to get the roughage, if you catch my drift. And you're not skipping on flavor. You're not skipping on just having a nice full meal that gets you going throughout the day. So download the app. Use that promo code OG25 to save 25% off your order. Big thanks to our friends at Whitaker and Hamer. Since we're no longer dissolving the LLC, we're going to have to use Whitaker and Hamer for other things. Perhaps we could use Whitaker and Hamer for private equity deals to sign all that kind of stuff. That's all the rage this week in the Big Ten and some drama. So maybe somebody wants to dump a bunch of payday loan money on the OG.
No, thank you.
Yeah, probably not. We don't want to do that. Regardless, you can get legal expertise with our friends at Whitaker and Hamer. Check them out online at wh.lawyer. Again, that's wh.lawyer. We keep bringing up the holidays. Look, Roback continues to drop heat like all the time. So if you haven't used that promo code yet, now's the time to do it and get everything you need for your Christmas gift-giving needs. So go to roback.com, RHOBACK.com, OG20. Get something for yourself too. Like I got that fleece, that shirt jacket fleece. It's fantastic. Super, super warm. They even dropped some new Veterans Day style. They got like little jets. Did you see those polos?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
So get one for the vet in your life.
There we go.
Like I got Shane, my large adult son, former Marine. I got him a box of crayons actually for I got him a box of crayons for the Marine's birthday yesterday. He's very happy about that. Hopefully they're tasty. So go to roback.com and get some goodies. OG20 is the promo code. You'll save 20% off your order. Speaking of Shane and hockey, I was at Garner yesterday for typical hockey practice, and the Monday Night Football game was on.
Okay,
that one set football back a little bit. Love hurts, right? That didn't hit.
No, I don't think
that
so.
did not hit yesterday. I can tell you that.
Not unless they were doling out unders for the first time ever.
That game hurt. One quick thing about this as I was watching the game. And I got home and I watched the end of it. And Nick Sirianni is getting roasted today for his decision making to go forward on fourth down.
In a win,
no less. And it did make me wonder: could you and I coach the Eagles and get similar results than Nick Sirianni?
He has won the Super Bowl.
I'm asking. I'm not changing my point. Is it possible that the Eagles are so good?
Probably not us.
That we could win a Super Bowl with the Eagles, just like Nick Sirianni.
Man.
How do they win in spite of him? That's what I want to know. Anyway, the reason why I'm bringing
was so weird.
It was a terrible game. The reason why I'm bringing up Monday Night Football, though, is that Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, was on the Manning Cast, which is on ESPN2. If you're a YouTube TV subscriber, you did not see Bob Iger on ESPN2 on the Manning Cast because they're currently in a carriage dispute right now. And I was like, oh, okay, Bob's on. I'm assuming he's going to at least push people, say, hey, download the app. You can still watch, like basically sell the idea. He didn't say anything. It was a pointless exercise in bringing Bob Iger on. I didn't understand why he was on. I thought maybe there'd be some sort of announcement. Well, no, there is no announcement. In fact, it looks like things aren't really moving anywhere right now. John Orand, who writes for a publication called Puck. For those who are unfamiliar with John Orand, he's a longtime sports business reporter. And here is where we're at right now. Quote, as I've been reporting for the past month, the sticking point between the two parties isn't ingestion or some other newfangled beef of late-stage streaming wars. It's simply old-fashioned pricing. I'm told that ESPN has agreed to give YouTube TV the same rate as the three biggest distributors in the business. That would be Comcast, Charter, and DirecTV, which has negotiated the lowest rates, a figure believed to be around $10 per subscriber per month. The trouble is that YouTube is pacing to crack their ranks, thanks to its extraordinary growth in trajectory, which is all but assured by its $3.5 trillion parent company, Alphabet. YouTube wants a better rate than those other distributors. And that, of course, is a bridge too far for ESPN. All of this, though, has highlighted an inflection point in these carriage disputes. And it's something that Dimitri and I have talked about on OG Business, and I'm sure we'll bring it up again this week, that we used to have a time in these carriage disputes that ESPN had leverage. Now they no longer have it. And YouTube knows they don't have it anymore. This is from Orrand. YouTube has weathered one Monday Night Football game with the Cowboys. Tonight's Eagles-Packers game presents a second marquee matchup. The Cowboys are back on Monday Night Football next week. These are the types of games that would historically force distributors to buckle. The endurance of this negotiation merely proves the enormity of YouTube's leverage. In fact, the question isn't really how long YouTube can hold out, but the precise opposite, how long Disney can afford to sit on its hands. This gets back to Dimitri's prediction last week in OG Business that he does not envision this ever going back to YouTube TV, and that ESPN, Disney will just double down on, hey, you can watch us on Disney Plus. But inertia matters, man. As you know, like we've talked about this in the past. I sit here and I think to myself, well, it's never been easier to switch. It's like you have to call somebody. Speaking of quicksand, you think Dave Canales can talk you in circles. Well, that person at AT&T Uverse or the old Time Warner Cable, they can talk you in circles to make sure that you don't leave the package. Now you have inertia. People just like YouTube, like Hayes was texting me about how he prefers
all
YouTube.
Stuff he's at DVR. It knows something. It's something like, about fast forwarding.
All sorts of stuff that I like the interface.
Yeah.
And I've been a Hulu person because, well, that's where all the Disney stuff is. So you have inertia that goes with this sort of thing. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And if you're a YouTube's TV subscriber, well, doesn't look like it's going to be changing anytime soon. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more on OG Business. The other thing that I found interesting is we kind of do a random little sports business here, but follow me because we're going to get to the ACC. There's a civil war breaking out in the Big Ten over private equity money.
I was just reading about this.
So Tony Petitti wants Southern Cal and Michigan, the two holdouts, to get on board with what the Big Ten wants to do. They got a vote coming up on November 21st. And that vote is to approve a $2.4 billion deal with an investment group called UC Investments. And it's a fund, apparently, that's associated with the University of California pension system. And Michigan and Southern Cal do not support this. And Ross Dellinger over at Yahoo saying that if they don't agree to the deal, the schools may lose the additional capital as part of their landmark proposal and risk their future within the conference beyond 2036. Because remember, there's a grant of rights that comes with this.
Yeah.
The current end of the existing grant of rights agreement. The conference later played down Petitti's move, noting that no vote has been scheduled. So that's kind of where we're at right now. But this is the new battle. And I was reading about this with our guy, Matt Brown, over at Extra Points. If you thought Florida State and Clemson were mad about like TV ratings and money distribution and everything else, this is the new frontier where the Big Ten wants to surpass everybody with this VC stuff, with this private equity stuff. And some schools are understandably a little hesitant to get on board with it because, as I have pointed out, and if others have pointed out, this is more of a payday loan than anything else. They're giving you the money, but they expect to make that money back. That's how private equity works. And how they get that money back can be very cutthroat. It's destroyed industries, including ours in the media.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be very, very careful if I'm a college that wants to get in bed with private equity. But that's where we're at right now. That's the current situation.
So I'm confused.
Yeah.
This deal is $2.4 billion total or per year?
I believe it is total. If I'm reading correctly, Big Ten Enterprises would become a for-profit entity. Each school would receive an average upfront payment of $135 million. Now, we talked about this with Matt Brown a couple weeks ago. This is like for a lot of infrastructure stuff. It's like, what's the money for? If the money is to pay players, well, you're fucked. Like, there's no other way around that. If you are using this to pay players, you are acting like any other business that is fronting loans to pay their employees, meaning that you don't have the right cash flow.
Yeah, but even if you're not using it per se directly to pay players, aren't you just moving money from one pot to another to pay the players from this pot and then filling this money in to the capital improvements pot?
So this is what gets back to our conversation with Tim Pernetti, the American commissioner from last month. And he's done this before, and he's probably going to do it with the American.
Sure.
And that you're going to use this private equity money to basically to do capital improvements at your facilities so that you can now pull the levers of making money, new revenue streams.
Okay.
Because that's the thing that the Big Ten has a problem with. It's like, I'm sitting here joking about urinal walls at University of Delaware. a lot of those stadiums, as you like to joke, they still got that World War II heat.
Yes.
Okay. And you can't really do much with those amenities. And that's kind of where we're at right now.
So Petiti wants the money.
He wants the money.
We're talking about the richest conference right now.
Yes. And they still need more money.
Oh, I just wanted to be clear.
No, trust me, dude. And this gets back to the ACC. Okay. I set all this. I set the table here to get back to the ACC. You're never gonna have enough money,
right?
So I am no longer interested in hearing the excuses about money, because even when you get the money you say you want, it's still not enough, and you're still using it as an excuse for your current state in life. And I thought you sent me this clip, and I thought it was kind of fascinating. This is Joey Galloway and Kirk Herbstreit.
Yeah. 2 Ohio State guys.
And the prompt,
chopping it up.
And the prompt is the Big Ten closer to the ACC or the SEC? And here is the exchange, and Kirk Herbstreit's face is something. It's like, oh, you clearly haven't thought about this.
To me, the ACC and the Big Ten are way more comparable than the Big Ten and the SEC.
Wow.
That would be an actual.
Really?
Yes. Wow. Comparable.
Wow.
Let me ask Mr. Wow. Is the Big Ten
I'm
closer?
not going to let that one go by.
No,
Holy
is the Big Ten closer to the SEC or the ACC?
Gotta say the SEC, right? These last 2 weeks, dude, the ACC, they've disappeared.
They've chewed themselves up.
You take Clemson and Florida State out of the ACC discussion, below 500. I don't know. I think I think the Big Ten is closer to the SEC.
Just
does Kirk know?
Initial reaction is exactly what you said. People will always gravitate to these brands of Clemson and Florida State. That's fine. I mean, look, they've earned it over the years, right?
Yeah.
Pre-portal, pre-NIL, they've earned it.
Sure.
Right.
But you say it. What about Clemson and Florida State? What about them?
Not relative. To this conversation. I want to show you this. I put this together.
Come on.
These are the bottom 6 teams in each conference. Now, I get it. I say this. I show this to you knowing that the Big Ten has the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country. Mm-hmm. I think you might be able to explain it, though. These are the bottom 6 teams in each conference. NC State, you see in the ACC, they're 8-28. This is their conference record. The SEC, the bottom 6 teams, 7-31, 8-28, 7-31. Got it. Big Ten, 4-34. Of those 4 wins, 3 of those 4 are against the other teams in the shit group. Oof. Only Wisconsin has a win outside of that group. Meanwhile, Oregon, who was whatever Oregon was supposed to be,
sure,
has 5 conference wins.
Yeah,
3 of them are against this shit group. Number 2 team in the country, by the way, is Indiana. Why is Indiana number 2? They beat Oregon.
Yeah.
Well, wait a second. You see where we're getting now?
I see where you're getting.
And I understand. The Big Ten has won the last 2 national championships. I understand. They have the number 1, number 2 teams in the country right now. But I think what Joey Galloway is pointing out is the SEC 1-16, you're going, okay, now even some of the Florida, one of those teams back there, pop Texas.
Right. And like,
you know what I mean?
Vanderbilt's, I made fun of Vanderbilt, but like having Diego Pavia makes you a different kind of
change.
Team.
It's a change.
Okay.
So I get it. The ACC doesn't have a number 1 or number 2 or even a top 10 team at this point.
But the dregs of the Big Ten, dude.
You can see NC State, one of those bottom 6 teams, pop up, not only beat Georgia Tech, but beat Virginia. So now, of course, also to your other point there, the flip of that is we've been talking about Carolina and all of their wins. The other dregs.
No, but hey, man, don't trap me. Don't trap me. They've won 2 games in a row, Joe. That's a winning streak.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
All right, let's go to the OG Sports phone. Let's go to a 704.
Hey, boys. Jesse in Durham here. I am first calling to say thank you for reminding me to order my chocolate chess pie for Thanksgiving. I had started that order and then got distracted the other day, so thanks for reminding me of that. Also, to follow up from Monday's conversation about the ACC and the college football playoff and stuff, am I the only one that thinks it's just way less fun to talk about what teams are going to make the college football playoff? Like, is college football less fun because of the playoff? Like, I know y'all have talked about this before. I'm in this to talk shit to my friends who went to Carolina or Duke or Wake or whatever, and not to win a national championship. So I just think it's less fun to talk about like the college football playoff implications rather than like who beat who last weekend. I'll hang up and listen. Love the show, guys.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for going to Two Roosters and ordering that chocolate chess pie.
Ice cream pie. In fact, I got to do that today.
I don't know if we should be excited or offended that Jesse did not call us from his vehicle.
What do you mean?
He normally calls us with his turn signal on. That's what he's normally doing. It's a great call, though. And he's right.
Yeah.
You and I have talked about this forever, even before we ever did a program together.
Yeah.
What was always a feature of college football? You know, Washington is better than Miami. No. Miami's better than Washington.
It's the arguments.
Georgia Tech is the real national. No. Notre Dame is the real national champion. Penn State, oh my God, they got robbed. No. Nebraska. Yeah. And there was
college football's always been the foundation of college football has been dumb arguments.
And it was always been the theater of the mind because the teams were never, ever going to play. Right? I can remember being so upset in 1994 that Penn State didn't have their chance to win to claim a part of the national championship because Tom Osborne went for 2 in 1983 and was given a national championship. To this day, I'm still probably not over it. But nowadays, what do we got? I mean, fucking A, man. Ohio State lost to Michigan last year and still made the playoff and then go and run roughshod through everyone in the playoff. So he's absolutely right. It's broken our brains in terms of what our standards are, our expectations are. As Dabo Sweeney correctly pointed out, it's flattened out the sport, or as I correctly pointed out, but Dabo Sweeney supported me. It's flattened out the sport. And now we've lost all sight of what's an actual accomplishment for your program that's not named Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State. So great call. Great call. Now, we don't need to go back to the days where they crowned a national champion before the bowl games. And I'm not saying we got to do that, but it's a great phone call.
Also, you know what's great? Two Roosters.
Pumpkin roll ice cream.
It's cream cheese ice cream.
So,
I mean,
go to tworoosters.com.
I don't even know how he does this. They're at this competition this week.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
The ice cream competition this week.
Ooh, we might have to get Jared on for that.
Can you imagine being a judge in the ice cream competition?
Oh, that would be that's your dream.
I mean, well, you'd have to have access.
I'd have to power through.
You'd have access.
I'd have to power through.
Could you imagine that's your gig?
Ice cream taster, judge.
How you think FIFA's corrupt? The ice cream judge.
I almost feel like we got to get Jared on next week or Thursday to be like, all right, so how does one go into an ice cream competition? Like, what are you going for here? What are you getting judged on? Very, very interesting stuff. Now, we're sitting here talking about ice cream and Two Roosters and getting stuff ready for Thanksgiving. You know, you can get your entire thing catered. Just go to the butcher's market and they can do that for you. Or they can just make it easier for you this Thanksgiving. So check them out online at thebutchersmarkets.com and get what you need for this upcoming Thanksgiving extravaganza. You also want to make sure that you got no like roaches hanging around. You got family coming over. You want to talk about judgy. Okay. You got family and friends coming over.
Sorry, just say roaches.
Judgy. Okay, I don't know.
I think anyone would judge you if you had roaches.
That's what I'm saying. So avoid the judgment. Like, I don't think anybody's ever gone to your house with a white glove and gone to the baseboard and gone, well, look who hasn't cleaned their baseboards in a while. Nobody does that. But if they see some bugs up in your house, they'll be like, yo, what's going on here? So contact our friends at bugsbite.com. Pets Authority can handle you, whether it's a one-time treatment, quarterly treatment, like I'm doing, they got you. Go to bugsbite.com.
Cone Con 25.
Is that what it's really called? Cone Con?
The Ice Cream Association, the North American Ice Cream Association. I'm big in Mexico. I mean,
that's funny.
Don't let the Canadians in.
That's funny. Maybe you need a house that has a giant freezer for all the goodies you brought back from Cone Con. Maybe you have Thanksgiving and you have Christmas and you're like, man, we have outgrown this house. We can't host people. People trying to crash with us. Can't do it. You want to like have grandma and grandpa hang out, like all that kind of stuff. You need a new house? Well, Hometown Realty. You tell them what you need. They're going to find that house for you. So check them out online at myhtr.com. Again, that's myhtr.com. You know, sometimes I wonder why we got fired. And I think Joe just got the self-awareness of why we got fired. He texted me this clip and he said, what was your exact quote? You weren't cut for radio?
I apologize because I'm like, nah, I never would have made it, man.
So this is from 97.
It's all my fault.
This is 97 won the ticket up in Detroit. And I guess the prompt from this is what you're talking about on a Monday in Detroit. Was really? Oh, okay. Because I'm always told, big markets, man. Big markets. That's real sports talk. That's what I'm told.
True show prep.
Real show prep. You know how many times I've been told in my time doing radio or now podcasting in this market, you're not a real market. Yeah, a real sports market's like, New York.
LeBron.
Detroit.
Versus MJ.
Cleveland. Your Mount Rushmore of Browns players. Give them to me. This is no knock on Nick Wilson. I know Nick Wilson. He's up in Cleveland. Or my guy, Goldie. Like, got it. Good dudes, okay? But please spare me on, big market sports. They know what they're talking about. Here's 97 won the ticket. Apparently, on a fucking Monday, asking the question, has Gus Johnson ruined the moment on Saturday?
Hey, that maybe we need to give Gus Johnson a cup of tea or something before he makes these calls.
Can we say that a network executive needs to sit him down and go, here's the deal, you putz. You're not the storyline. The game is. That was such a fake response. He didn't lose his damn voice. He faked it. He's fake. His whole existence is fake. He sits here acting like, oh, U of D. Man, ain't nobody seen you at U of D Jesuit. Shut up, you. Guy's nothing but a charlatan. What a fake ass call. He ruins everything he touches.
He lost his voice.
No, he didn't. He's a fake.
Well, no, I think he did because every play on that drive was, oh my God.
Because he's
Gus,
fake.
They aren't all that great of a play.
Right. So now, when the moment is the moment, you've cried wolf so many times, none of us can be bothered.
It was Indiana versus Penn State, by the way.
That was my other question. You're not even in the right market, dude. So hold on.
The white guy's take is just triggering me. I'm like, this is it. This is what that guy was talking about all these years, Giglio. You just don't have any good ideas. You don't have any.
Yeah, ripping Gus Johnson on a Monday in Detroit.
By the way, the take is awful.
It's a terrible take. It's a terrible take.
Faking it. Look, man, is Gus over the top? Absolutely. Did he step on a dramatic moment? Of course he did.
Yeah.
But man, Cade Cunningham, the Pistons,
right?
The Red Wings, the Lions. What's going on in your division?
Right. You want to dunk on the Bears?
Yeah, anything.
No, we got to rip Gus Johnson on a Monday.
Michigan State.
Yeah, no. On a Monday.
Maybe even Ohio State. I can understand being obsessed with Ohio State.
If it was Indiana, if that was the Indiana Ohio State game, I would understand.
There's a lot of passion there.
He's offer. Speaking of fake,
you couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it.
I couldn't fake it.
You couldn't do it. Not every day.
Me and Meg Ryan couldn't do it.
So speaking of fake,
days of the week underpants.
Last week,
give it to me, Sheldon.
Last week, we brought you AI soul covers of rock songs.
Oh no!
Now we have graduated to completely fake artists doing completely fake songs with completely made up backgrounds.
I can't wait.
I give you AI for the cultures. J.T. Robinson was a charismatic figure who rose from the smoky back rooms of underground gambling dens to the glitzy stages of 1970s soul music. Born and raised in Chicago, J.T. spent most of his early life running numbers and battling a crippling gambling addiction. His knack for rhythm, honed while rattling dice and memorizing betting slips, found its way into music when he picked up a guitar to pass the time between bets. Again, completely made up artist with a completely made up background, with a completely made up song called Girl, I'm Just One Parlay Away from 1980. You ready for this?
Girl, I'm just one parlay away from a new house, new car. I'm just one parlay away. Trust I'ma take us far. I'm just one parlay away. One parlay away. One parlay away. Oh.
So you're telling me that those guys in Detroit can't be replaced by this? Is that what you're telling me?
It's really good.
I keep saying, no, there's no way AI overtakes things. But then I hear some jabroni in Detroit ripping Gus Johnson for an entire segment. I'm going, actually, no, AI can do that and probably better. We're cooked. Speaking of AI,
that was really good. That was a good find.
It was actually pretty good. Yes, it was. There was another one called Do you want to hear? You know what? I'll save hose at the Trader Joe's for tomorrow.
No. Is it to the area codes? Or is it an original composition?
It's another composition. It's like from the 1971 classic Hose at Trader Joe's.
I got hose. Trader Joe's.
So speaking of AI, we'll close on this. Rodney apparently had a lot of time on his hands, and he went to Sora, and he decided to do an AI version of the Circle of Suck with the mascots.
We were once the Triangle of Terror, man. Then we started handing each other L's like free samples.
I mean, I beat you. You beat him.
And he somehow beat me.
Round and round we go. Everyone looking average.
Congratulations, fellas. We've up.
With a weird image of a Circle of Suck.
I know.
This is getting good.
It reminds me, I need to get create a vortex. Well, you need to create a vortex graphic.
Mikey P does.
Yeah,
Mikey P does.
So that we can put the L's and W's in
I'll
the
hit
right
him up
spot.
today. He followed it up with another Sora video saying the Circle of Suck is better if only Sora could follow directions.
Remember when they used to call us the Triangle of Good?
Yeah, now we're a geometry lesson nobody wants to take.
Circle of Suck. Rolls right off the tongue, huh? Or right into the lost column. Maybe we just all got bad.
Man, we're cooked, bro. We're cooked. But you know what, Joe? If this doesn't work out for us and we get replaced by AI, we're just one parlay away. One parlay away.
We gotta download that. Puppy.
One parlay away from a new studio. We'll see y'all tomorrow.